Horizon Zero Dawn by Guerrilla Games. Horizon Zero Dawn was an ambition IP set in a period where robot dinosaurs roamed the planet and humans have resorted back to some primitive thinking. The game went into development in 2011 and took about $50 million to make. The game went on to sell over 10 million copies and tons of awards. How did we feel about it, though? Here's our honest review of Horizon Zero Dawn by Guerrilla Games.
All right, man. Horizon Zero Dawn by Guerrilla Games. This was, I felt like they said they showed the original trailer off for this in 2014, maybe.
Damn, really?
2015.
It had to be 2015.
Makes you feel old, right? How do you feel about this album? Not album. This art book that you have for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Man, this cover is fire. Okay, I have actually a variant of this on my computer, my desktop. So I really loved a lot of arts pieces from this game, but this cover itself was just really, really dope. I love the look of it, and it perfectly describes the essence of the game itself.
Yeah, just the fact that you see Aloy and you see the huge Thunderjaw on the cover. I don't think you understand until you play the game. It is a dope cover. It's a dope shot because that was the first thing they showed when they showed the trailer. They showed Aloy fighting a Thunderjaw, and I remember watching the trailer like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah.
Okay, that was cool. And then he shot off the blaster off of the Thunderjaw and started using it. I'm like, what the yo, this is nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fire cover. The plot of this game, man, without giving away too much, man, it's Aloy pretty much. I mean, we have humans at a stage in life where they kind of like have moved more towards a religious way of thinking and not using much common sense about anything. And Aloy is kind of the opposite. And it's basically because she found this technology piece that pretty much shows her almost everything and gives her infinite knowledge, but she comes to find out that there's something else attached to that, and there's a lot else going on in the world that she's not really quite aware of as a kid.
Yeah, this is just a great dystopian fantasy with a lot of, like, I want to say cyberpunk elements. I mean, it's just a lot that actually makes sense. So it's kind of crazy how they made this kind of environment work, and you know, it's inspired a lot of elements from other type of narratives. So it's a very interesting piece of work.
Yeah, for sure, man. Highlights of this game, man. First of all, the world is huge. It's beautiful. It's lavish. There's so many different ways to traverse it on the ground. I gotta throw that in there. Hopefully the next game we can do it in the air. That would be amazing. But it is cool, just the fact that every single battle, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm speaking from playing it on hard. Every single battle is a potential death. Even the simple enemies can kill you.
Yes.
So everything always feels like a struggle. Even when you're fighting the simplest enemies, if you get put in a really bad position or you're out of certain equipment, it makes anything hard. I love the world. I love everything about the environment of this game. I love dinosaurs and animals and the way they figure out a way to incorporate them into robots. You got saber-toothed tigers, T-Rexes, crabs, cheetahs that turn invisible, that scared the hell out of me the very first time I saw them, because I was just like, I know there's stuff around here. I could see something moving, and then I'm talking about I looked to the side and didn't realize there was one standing right next to me. If I would have moved, it would have killed me. It was amazing, man. This game has so much good stuff going for it. And the fact that, like, when you're making this stuff, like, the game doesn't pause. It just slightly slows down enough for you to actually make some stuff on the run. And
Right.
Everything always feels intense. I always felt engaged, and the hair on my arms was standing up during every fight.
Yeah, man. I have to diddle that. The battle system, the movement, everything in this game is really, really dope. What I like the most about it is this game give you a sort of a set of gadgets that actually have uses for any type of situation. Like, there's a lot of games out there that give you a lot of junk for no reason. I feel like this game gives you certain gadgets, weapons for a reason, and there's a time and place for everything. And like you said, if you're playing on hard mode, you've really got to use these items the correct way, or it's over. Mm-hmm. So I really love that about the game because it really makes you think about what you're doing. And like you said, the world and the graphics is crazy. I really love the believable type of landscape and everything that they created with here, and just the whole essence of the different enemy types adds a lot of variety to the game that actually keeps you thinking, the enemy patterns, and just how different every enemy is. It's just really crazy.
For sure, man. Low lights, man. I think everybody knows this. It's not like this is new news. The facial expressions for the motion capture. I don't know if they just didn't have enough time to put them in, but there's so many times where something bad will happen. Like, oh, my dad died. And the way they say it, it makes it seem like they don't actually care that happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wish they could have got that right, because if they did, I feel like the game could have been perfect. The ways of traversing was fine. The fast travel was fine. The amount of resources, they don't give you too much, but they don't give you too little. It is an amazing balancing act they pulled off here. I didn't know, because these are the people that make Killzone. I didn't know this was going to come from that, because I thought Killzone was okay. But this right here, this is amazing, man. And I can't really think of many lowlights aside from that, about the facial expressions and everything like that. The systems, the worlds, the way people fought, the way the map told you where to go and where to find the enemies, everything was laid out really cleanly for you. So, and you always know where to go to get certain things, because you can always, after you fight an enemy, and you can look at what they carry, and you could literally shoot them off. You can use a scavenger arrow to shoot these things off of them so you could collect them. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, man, I have to ditto what you said about the facial expressions, because those were their only kind of low light about the game. Was just some odd facial expressions. The voice work from random NPCs was just kind of like, all right. So other than that, man, there's not any low lights I could particularly think about. I thought, this game pretty hit it in every area.
Yeah, man. Final thoughts, man. Look, if you have not played Horizon Zero Dawn, I feel like you should go get a PS4. I mean, or you can wait for PS5, but you need to play this game. This is one of the best games of the generation, straight up, hands and down. Like, there's no arguing about it. This game is amazing. The character is amazing. I love the things that she says. I just don't care for the way she says them. That's the only issue with it. The world is fine. The boss, the story is super dope. It's open-ended. They leave it open for the sequel. The bosses are amazing. Like I said, the regular fighters, the regular combatants are like bosses at times. If you're fighting the right setup of enemies, they're bosses, and if you don't take out certain parts of their body, they will kill you. Like, they do not play around. When you run into them alligators for the first time, I think that's on the DLC. Right? Are the alligators on the DLC, or are they in the real game?
They're on the main game as well, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. So, because the DLC was the polar bear and this thing that can jump all the way across the screen. I never forget that. The first time you fight it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you from all the way over here, and that you jumped all the way in the air and landed right next to me. I was like, what the hell? But they got a damn roadrunner like bird. That joint is crazy to fight. It's super hard. And then if you don't knock out his antennas, it could alert the other enemies. Like, the way they thought about creating these creatures and the amount of time they put into it is amazing.
Yeah, man, this game really, really shocked me. Like you mentioned, being from Guerrilla Games, they came around and made something like this. It really took everybody by surprise, and I think it's just because of the amount of attention to detail in this game. It was remarkable. The fact that the game looks so beautiful. I mean, I seen it on your TV with HDR, and I was just like, good God, So this game is remarkable. It still stands up. Even when I play it or watch a clip from it, I'm just like, man, this game, it makes you want to get back into it. This is a remarkable achievement. I can only imagine what it looks like on the beefiest PC rig now that is released on PC.
Man, it's probably uncapped frame rates. So
this is a remarkable achievement. You have no excuse not to play this game, even if you're not a fan of PlayStation. It is on PC. Go play it.
Yeah, I might actually look up to see if I can buy one of those statues that came with the collector's edition right now. Because now that I know that a game was that much fire, I feel like I should have got it.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right, Joe, that's been our reviews for the week. Not album
we
reviews.
gotta give our rate, man.
You said our rank.
We didn't give our grade.
Oh, I'm tripping. Final grade. Look, man, this is one of the best games of the generation. I know. It has some crappy facial expressions and everything like that. But I'm going to give it a 10 because this gameplay, the environment, the world, how engaged I felt when playing it, how much I wanted to play it, the amount of difficulty that you get from this game. They found a balance that games struggle to find throughout their whole lifetime. And the game shipped like that. So shout out to them for that. I love this game. I wouldn't mind playing it right this second. Just going and fighting a Thunderjaw or a long snap paw or whatever the thing was called. The villain, not the villains, but the people that you have to fight are so dope, so intimidating, and they all will kill you. It's almost like people always talk about the Dark Soul games. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more forgiving because you can dodge pretty much everything as long as you dodge the right way.
Play on hard mode for the best experience. Just play on hard mode. Yes, man. 10 out of 10 for me. Facial animations aside, I thought this game had the perfect blend of story and side quest content. Everything mattered eventually, what you were doing. The exploration in the game is phenomenal. Every time you turn on the game, you kind of never want to put the controller down because it's just such an inviting world that they really executed greatly, and I would play it again. Shouts out to Guerrilla Games. I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, just real quick story. I think the thing is called a Sawjaw, the kind of saber-toothed tiger looking animal. Mm-hmm. The very first time I fought it, you realize that they have a weakness to fire, like right above their neck and right under their stomach, where they have this thing that could be exploded by fire. I didn't know that when you kill a couple of the animals, they evolve and they have plating to cover the weak spots that you've been targeting.
Oh, yeah.
And so the next, like, I'm like, yeah, these things are easy to kill. And then I got to one where I was trying to shoot the thing with fire underneath, and I knocked it off with the fire arrow as opposed to blowing it up because I didn't know I had to have a piercing arrow to knock off the coating protectant that they had to cover up the areas that I kept targeting. So I had to find out a different way to kill it.
Yeah.
I thought that added such a dope layer to the game.
It did.
That's just something that I think people need to understand, because if you're sitting here thinking like, yeah, it's only so many, like 15 different animals. Once I figure out how to beat them, I know how to beat them. Nah, it don't work like that. They actually evolve throughout the game depending on how you're fighting them, which I thought was really dope.
I agree with you. The adaptive, pattern, it keeps you on your toes. You got to actually be mindful of future elements in the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, super facts.